Why decision-making specifically, not just tiredness in general?
We're talking about a reaction time gap of around 200 milliseconds after a short night. In a rally, that's the difference between anticipating a ball and just reacting to it. Sleep doesn't show up immediately. It shows up in the third set, 2 weeks from now.
Welcome to Pathways by Path. I'm Evan Rhodes. This is a show about the decisions, challenges, and journeys shaping competitive tennis. A tired player's forehand looks exactly the same in practice. It's the split-second choice before it that falls apart first. My guest is a sports sleep specialist who works with junior athletes. Naomi Voss, welcome to Pathways by Path. Tell me about a player whose game actually changed once she started sleeping enough.
Sure, there's a girl I still bring up in every talk I give. Sophia, 16, ranked near the top of her section, and on paper, her training looked perfect. Turns out she was averaging about 5 hours a night during tournament weeks. Once she got closer to 7, her ranking barely moved, but her unforced errors dropped by almost a third in that same stretch. That's when I stopped talking about sleep as recovery and started talking about it as decision-making.
Why decision-making specifically, not just tiredness in general?
Because the body compensates for fatigue longer than the brain does. A tired player can still sprint, still hit hard, but the part of the brain that reads a shot and picks a response, that's the first thing to slow down. We're talking about a reaction time gap of around 200 milliseconds after a short night. In a rally, that's the difference between anticipating a ball and just reacting to it.
So the stroke doesn't break down, the choice before it does. What's actually enough sleep for a competitive junior?
7 to 8 hours, consistently. Not just the night before a match, the whole week leading into it. One good night after 5 bad ones barely moves the needle. It's the average across the week the brain actually responds to.
One good night doesn't undo 5 bad ones. Why does sleep get cut before anything else, when everyone knows it matters?
Because nothing visible happens right away. Skip a meal, you feel it in 20 minutes. Skip sleep, the court time still happens, the match still gets played. The cost just moves somewhere you can't see it that day. Families protect what shows up immediately. Sleep doesn't show up immediately. It shows up in the third set, 2 weeks from now.
That's a cost you can't see until it's already too late to fix easily. Is it just decisions or does it hit anything else?
Emotional control goes with it. A well-rested player double faults and moves on. A tired player double faults and it becomes the whole next game. The frustration doesn't get bigger. The ability to let it go gets smaller.
That's the part that never shows up on a stat sheet. What's one thing a family could actually change without turning it into a whole new schedule?
Anchor the wake-up time, not the bedtime. Families try to force an earlier bedtime, and it almost never sticks. But if the wake-up time stays consistent, even on weekends, the body starts asking for sleep on its own within a couple of weeks.
That's counterintuitive. Protect the wake-up, not the bedtime. Where does the coach fit into this? Is it really a parent-only fix?
No, and that's usually the missing piece. A coach who schedules a 6 a.m. hitting session 3 days before a tournament is making a sleep decision, whether they think of it that way or not. The three of them, player, parent, coach, are all setting the same clock without realizing it.
That's the hardest kind of cost to manage because nothing about today looks wrong. It's not really a family problem or a coach problem on its own. It's a scheduling problem across all three, and that's what Path's shared planning space is for today. The parent, the coach, and the player looking at the same tournament dates and training blocks instead of 3 separate calendars that only line up after the damage is done. Next week, a sports family therapist joins the show on what actually happens to a household once tennis becomes the loudest thing in it.